Hayden, we doing part 1 today of that 2-part series?
Yeah, the spelling section.
Yeah, it's just going to be a tricky one because the way we spell words and the way we say words, it so often doesn't really match up, does it?
No, these poor kids. I honestly have no idea who decided on why we need so many different sounds for some of these spellings.
Yeah, no, I do wonder.
Okay, can I just get this straight? So we're saying that this one is cough, but this one's not throff. It's through?
Yeah. Not frothed. Through. Yeah, through. Yeah.
Okay, so we're settled. This is cough and through.
Cool, yeah.
Okay, so I think with this one, we'll stick with the oo sound, and can we agree on 2?
Right. So, got it right. Through. T-O. Can't do it. T-O-O as well for 2. And the number 2, T-W-O.
That's a good point.
He's right.
Well, another one's not going to hurt. I'm in charge, and I want to go with the word 2.
Tough. Tough works. Yeah, good. Tough. Yeah.
Okay, alright, tough. Yeah, tough. Let's move on. Okay, we've got 3 words left up there. We've got 3 sounds now. A bit more than I wanted. 3 sounds, no more sounds, please. 3 sounds, 3 words. Let's have a look at the first one. Okay, have a little chat, and we'll come back in a second and discuss.
I'd go for
Thoughts? I'm not sure. The thoots out of these 3 thoots are foff.
Okay, everyone, lovely discussions. So, any thoughts? No. No.
This guy.
No, absolutely not. We've got 3 sounds already. Guys, you're not listening. You're not listening. Stop. None of you are listening to me. I'm the CEO of the English language. Okay? So stop. We've got another word to look at. Okay? And all you have to do is choose the sound. Ow!
He's done it again.
I would have done one of the 4 sounds we've already got.
Yeah, I know. You can't teach that. You can't teach that. It's unbelievable.
We've got one more word. Yeah? One more word, and we've done the entire English language.
Efficient.
No more new sounds.
No new sounds.
Okay, we've got 5. There are no new sounds. In fact, this time we're going to take a vote. Here are your options. Doff nut. Do nut. Duff nut. Door nut. Or down nut.
I like that.
So there's your options. Take a few seconds. Have a think about.
That's the guy.
About your vote, and we'll vote.
I thought the same.
I heard he was the guy who put the K in knowledge. That was him.
Oh no. No, please. No,
it's happening.
Oh, not again.
Oh, it's happening again. It's going to happen again.
Oh.
Donut.
Oh.
Hey everyone, welcome to part 1 of our 2-part series looking into how to tackle the spelling and punctuation sections of the English paper in the Kent test. In this video, we're going to focus solely on spelling, and be sure to stick around to the end of the video for our top tip on how to remember any spelling. Okay, so how do these questions work? What do you get in front of you? Well, it's quite simple. You'll be given a sentence or a passage to read through. In that sentence or passage, there will be 1 spelling mistake or no mistakes at all. It's your job to select the group of words which are labelled with the letter A, B, C or D that contains the mistake, or if there are no mistakes, you must select N. Here's an example on the board of what one might look like. You can see the sections that are labelled A, B, C and D, and you can see N at the end for no mistake. I've spotted accidental as spelt incorrectly, and just checking those spelling rules we'll talk about later will help you to spot this. It's not L-E on the end. I know it's A-L. I've even written it out to make sure I was correct. So I'm going to circle B here, but to get the mark, make sure you go to the answer paper, put a real clear line through B, and that's how you answer the question. So let's just rewind and see how can we prepare for the spelling test. Now, I've got a question. Who knows what words will come up on the spelling test? And the answer is popping up on the screen now. Nobody. We do not know what words will come up on the spelling test. But Through experience, previous tests, and what the government issue, we can get an idea of the things that we should be practicing, and they're popping up again on the screen now. So let's talk through them. Curriculum words. Curriculum words are a list of words, also known as Year 5-6 words, or even Year 3-4 words, that the government issues schools, and they say, children, by the end of Year 6, should be able to spell all of these words. And the Kent test has used this list in the past and put it into their questions. So you will learn them in school, but it might be worth putting some extra time into learning them outside of school as well. And we'll come on to our really cool technique later on how to remember those words, so stick around for that. Homophones. Homophones are those words which sound the same but have different spellings. And the spelling test can test you to see if you know the context of the word and therefore the correct spelling. So you need to have a real confidence with homophones. Spelling rules. Now, what do I mean by spelling rules? These are the things you do in class. Maybe you have spelling tests every week. Maybe you look at shun words, for example, T-I-O-N or S-I-O-N, and you come up with rules on how to spell them. And you can see how this links in with suffixes and prefixes. You need to know your spelling rules. So make sure you're paying attention in school and do that extra practice. And finally, the horrible section, exception words. English is full of them. Words that just have spellings which make no sense. You just have to learn them. And like I said with curriculum words earlier, we have a really awesome technique for these that we'll tell you about later. Now, if there was one thing that we could tell you as a top tip on how to improve your spelling, it would be to read. And read, and then read some more. The more you're exposed to words, the more you see them, the more you absorb them, the more you practice them as well, as a side task, the more you will take in correct spellings and be able to spot the mistakes. So how can you do all of this at the same time? Well, you can read. Now that we've taken a look at what preparation includes, we're going to move on and think about a technique. Now, there is no one technique that means you will get every single spelling question correct. It just doesn't exist. You have to put in the hard graft of your reading and your spelling practice in order to get good marks in this test. But what a technique does do, paired with preparation, is help you reach your potential. You're far less likely to miss a mistake if you have a technique nailed down. And what we do have is this pink box of advice coming up now. So the first thing, really simple. If you know the answer, go for it. If you've read it through and you know there's a mistake there, you're 100% sure, don't waste any more time, put the answer down in your answer sheet and move on. The second thing, if you're still unsure, what I want you to do is this: read the sentence one word at a time and get rid of words that you know are right. But I don't want you to read the sentence normally. I want you to read the sentence backwards. One word at a time, ticking words as you go that you know are spelled correctly. We're not only using deduction here, but we're also tricking our brain. Our brains are hardwired to gloss over mistakes. Our brain fills in information that isn't actually there to save us time. And it can be really easy to gloss over a spelling error. You've probably seen those riddles before. Can you spot the mistake? And you can't see it. And you go back and there are two words the same next to each other. Or there's a slight spelling mistake in the middle where the letters have just been swapped. It's really easy for our brain to get tricked. So by going at the end and looking one word at a time, moving backwards, just like this, we're far less likely to miss a mistake. Now, if you're still unsure, and maybe you've got, for example, two words left that you think, well, I mean, it could be a mistake, I'm not sure. Write them out yourself. And sometimes just writing out a word, for example, like earlier we said accidental, just writing out a word, your muscle memory comes in and you write down the correct letters because you've done it so often and you've seen it in books by reading so much. That's another little technique that can help you to spot a mistake. And finally, think back to your spelling rules, think back to your preparation. Does it make sense that the word ends that way or starts that way? And if you're still stuck, at least you've got a best guess. You might have narrowed it down to 2 or 3 options. Don't forget, the answer could be N. There could be no mistake at all. Let's take a look at an example. We've got all of the preparation in place. We know our technique now. We're going to go through this pink box one stage at a time. So let's take a look. My neighbour delivered us a selection of thoughtful gifts for our anniversary. Now, if you know it, you can go it. You can even leave us a comment if you want to let us know what the answer is. I'm not sure Okay, I'm going to be a student here, is not sure. So I'm going to go through our technique to model it to you. Read the sentence one word at a time. Aha. Going from the back and ticking only words that I am 100% sure are correct. Even if I've got a slight doubt, I'm going to leave it. Anniversary. In fact, this is one of my spelling rules maybe that you've learned in school. I happen to know that is exactly how you spell anniversary. Ah, that's fine. Not to be confused with the homophone A-R-E, which tricks a lot of children. For, fine. Gifts, fine. Thoughtful, that suffix is jumping out at me. I'm not sure. I'm going to leave it. Of, that's fine. Selection, I know the shun ending's fine. A, us, obviously. Delivered with ED at the end. Yep, that's fine. Neighbour, I'm pretty sure it's OU. This is where preparation kicks in. I'm going to tick it. I know that's correct. And then my. Okay, so taking a look, actually, it's only thoughtful. So I can get rid, using deduction, of A. I can get rid of B. I can get rid of D. There's either no mistake or it's thoughtful. Now, here's where you need to unlock prior knowledge. Here's where I can't give you a shortcut. Here is where your suffix knowledge comes in. I know the suffix full is FUL. And it's a common trick for the test writers to put in LL because the word on its own full does have two L's. But the suffix has one. I'm going to go for C. I'm going to get the question right. Okay, let's take a look at another one. I'm going to move a bit more quickly this time. The electrician and the plumber had to be called out immediately last night. No shortcut again, guys. Do you know how these words are spelled? Night is correct. Last is correct. Immediately, two M's, absolutely right. Out, called, B2, had, plumber, double M. I'm pretty sure plumber is one of the exception rules where there's a weird something in the middle. I'm going to keep that one. The and electrician. Here's where previous knowledge again helps me. It's the shun ending, but this isn't T-I-O-N and it's not S-I-O-N, but I know that the suffix C-I-A-N can make the shun sound, and I also know that this is often used for professions, for jobs. Magician, electrician. I know it's spelled correctly. I'm going to tick it because I've got that prior knowledge. And the. So again, the options are between B and N. You need to know your spellings. You need to put your preparation in. Plumber is one of those exception rules. It has a silent B in the middle. E-R. You're going to put B. And even if you weren't sure, at least you've got a 50-50 guess between B and N. Another example. Let's take a look again. And if you want to race me to see if you can get it quicker than I am, feel free to do so, because I'm going to do this one at my normal pace. The government, straight away, my gut is telling me that's wrong. I don't think that's how you spell government. I think there's a little trick in there somewhere. I think it's something to do with the word govern. I'll come back to it, see if anything else jumps out at me. Recommend, fine, that all children should exercise. The C can make an S. I know that's right. For 1 hour a day. Notice how good spelling knowledge is compulsory. You need to put that time in. My gut is bringing me back to government again. I'm going to write it out like I said and see if that jogs my memory for government. Government. Let's have a look. G-O-V. Govern. When you're in charge of the government, you govern people. Pretty sure there's an N in there. Government. Yes, that looks right. And I can see now next to government that government has jogged that in my brain. My gut feeling was correct. Government is spelled incorrectly. A is the answer. Move on. Another question, and by the way, you can find all of these sheets for free on our website at www.topdogtuition.com if you just click on the free resources tab. Every single one of those documents has answers with them too. So if you want extra practice, head over that way. Now, despite everything we've spoken about so far, this really sums up why spelling can be so tricky. This question involves homophones. Now, let's take a look. Eleanor was too nervous to sleep. And if you put in the preparation and learn your common homophones, two should jump out at you straight away. There are, in fact, 3 ways to spell that word. Two, T-W-O, as in the number. Two with 2 O's, which is a comparison word. You are too good to play football with them, or you are too hot to sleep. And the last one is 2 with just 1 O, which is more like a direction. I am going to the shops. And what we need to do is to make sure that you're using the right context. Reading it through and then going backwards 1 word at a time, we wouldn't actually see an obvious mistake because T-O is a word. This is why homophones are so tricky. So let's just check each context. Neither of these are the number, so it can't be that. Eleanor was too nervous. Aha, we're comparing. We're saying she was too nervous. Her nerves were over the top. That is not a direction. That is us using the comparison to with two O's. This is spelled incorrectly. This should be two with two O's. It's A. My goodness, what a tricky question. Putting that homophone prep in will really help you too. Our final question that we'll go through together has a different purpose, which will lead on finally to our technique to try and remember how any word is spelled. Now, this one we're going to go through one step at a time, do it backwards, tick them off. You're going to find that there are lots of tricky words in here. Electronic, circuits with the soft C. Learning should be okay. Environment's a tricky word to remember, but they are all spelled correctly. The answer in this one would be N. The point I want to make though is that if you're practicing at home and you think, I'm not sure if environment is correct, I really don't know if that's how you spell environment. Well, this is where I'm going to teach you a way to try and learn how any of those tricky words that you find hard, you can put a clue to them. So we can make clues. For this word environment, I've noticed that me personally, I always forget that N in the middle, because when I say environment, my accent and the way I say the word drops that N in the middle. So I'm going to write it on a piece of card, and you can do this at home too with any words you find tricky. Isolate where you make the mistake. For me, it's Ron, as you can see on the screen. And now I'm going to make up a clue, and it can be absolute nonsense as long as you remember it. And my clue is this. Ron cares about the environment. And every time I see the word environment now, I think of Ron Weasley. Absolute nonsense. And I think Ron really cares about the environment. And I imagine he got older after Harry Potter. He got a job, and now he is caring for the environment. And I will never forget how to spell environment because of that. If you're ever unsure for a spelling, write it down on a cue card, and on the back, write down a clue. And it can be absolute nonsense as long as you remember the spelling. Now that I know Ron cares about the environment, I will never spell it wrong again. Whew. There we have it. Spellings can be so tricky in the Kent test. We've gone over loads of techniques. Honestly, the biggest piece of advice I can give you guys is to read and read and read, as well as practice your spelling rules. If you want to have a go yourself at home now, please do have a look at these two questions on the screen and leave us your answers in the comment section down below.
If you found these spelling tips really helpful today, be sure to hit that like button, and if you're still not subscribed, smash that subscribe button too, and you'll be the first one to see when we upload new content. See you next time.